I spent like the last 2 hours trying to figure out 3 ReadAthon's TBRs with one set of books, and it's very confusing. Hey guys, this is Eliza and welcome back to a new video. So today we'll be doing a TBR for the NEWTs edition of Magical ReadAthon. I'm gonna take those off because I can't actually see shit out of them because I need these, which I can't really see shit out of anyway because I haven't cleaned them. And I'm also gonna put my one down because otherwise I'm gonna smack something and knock something over, so I'll just leave the tie on. So as you may know, the NEWTs edition of Magical ReadAthon is taking place in August for the entirety of August. And at the beginning of the year, I participated in my OWLs and I was aiming for the Magizoologist career. So I have my little book of wizarding careers here. And here is the information for Magizoologist. So during the OWLs, I had to complete the Care of Magical Creatures challenge, Charms, Herbology, and Potions challenges to aim towards Magizoologist. I did actually complete every challenge for OWLs ReadAthon at the beginning of the year, so I qualify for any of these, but I am going to stick with Magizoologist because that is what I was originally aiming for. So for Magizoologist, I need to get an O in Care of Magical Creatures, an E in Charms, and an E in Herbology. So I do have books for the challenges that I require for Magizoologist, but I also have a few of the other challenges filled as well. So mainly because I'm doing other readathons and I just made them fit, but I will try to aim for as many as I can, but at the moment this is my tentative TBR for the Magical ReadAthon. So I am going to go in order because otherwise I'm going to get confused, and I will read out the challenges for the ones that I'm not completing and I'll just tell you I'm not completing them just so that they're in order, and again, I don't miss anything. I went in order so I don't miss anything, but Muggle Studies is not on this at all. It also wasn't on the original list where I made my TBR, so I don't have any books for it. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. So I have my little Hogwarts letter here telling me I need to take my NEWTs. So first we have Ancient Runes, and for the acceptable challenge you need to read a book recommended by a friend. I have not chosen a book for this one. I don't have any real life bookish friends, so I'm just gonna have to find one of them online. For the Exceeds Expectations challenge, you need to read a book written in past tense. I also don't have a book for this one. Can you tell I slack at Ancient Runes? For the Outstanding challenge, we have to read a book that has been on your TBR for ages. There is multiple that could count for this, but we'll just see what I read. Again, I'm slack at Ancient Runes, apparently. Next we have Arithmancy, and for the acceptable challenge you need to read a book that ends on an even page number. So for this one I have chosen Misfit City Volume 1 by Kirsten Smith, which has 112 pages. I can't be 100% sure that the exact story ends on an even number because I don't own it physically, I only have the ebook, so we're just gonna go with the page count. But it is 112, so it's an even number. For the Exceeds Expectations challenge for Arithmancy, you need to read a standalone. I don't have one for this challenge planned as yet, but we'll see what happens. I'll probably just cram a heap of audiobooks at the end of the month to fit the challenges, which is pretty sure what I did last time. The Outstanding challenge is to read a book that is longer than 350 pages. And for this one I have chosen Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. I can't remember, I think this is around 400 pages, and I have it on TBR for another readathon. I have this one on audiobook. It's over 350 pages, so it counts. Now moving on to Astronomy. For the acceptable challenge, Moon on the cover or anywhere in the title. I haven't chosen one for this one because I don't physically own a book with a moon on the cover or moon in the title, I don't think. So we'll just have to see that, or I'll just, again, find an audiobook to read at the end of the month. The Exceeds Expectations challenge is word night in book title or series name. Again, I haven't decided on this one yet. I have a couple that could fit on my TBR, but we'll just see what I have time for. Then for Outstanding, read a sci-fi book or a book that has stars on the cover. I haven't chosen one for this one anyway. So far I'm 100% failing at Ancient Runes and Astronomy. So next we have Care of Magical Creatures, and for this one I have to get an O. So to get an O you do have to complete complete Exceeds Expectations, and then complete O. So, Outstanding. So the acceptable challenge for Care of Magical Creatures, Follow the Spiders. Why couldn't it be Follow the Butterflies? Book title that starts with a letter A for Aragog. And for this one I've chosen Arch Enemies by Marissa Meyer. It starts with an A for Aragog. pretty self-explanatory. For the Exceeds Expectations challenge, you have to read a book that is under 300 pages. For this one, I have chosen Archangel 1 by Evan Curry. I'm not sure how to pronounce this one. I have this one as an e-arc and it is under, what are we doing, 300 pages. For the Outstanding challenge, grab onto Fawkes's tail, read a book with a bird on the cover. And for this one, I'm reading The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw. If you can tell, there is a bird there, and there's a bird there, and there. There's plenty of birds. There's also a hand coming out of the water. Bird on the cover, it counts for this challenge. So next we have Charms, and for this one I have to get an Exceeds Expectations. So first off, for the acceptable challenge, it is to read a book that you think has a gorgeous cover. And for this one I've chosen Shadowfrost by Coco Ma, or May, or Ma, or something, I'm not sure. This one is another e-arc that I have, and this has got like a sword and all colours and stuff. It is really pretty. I really like this cover. For the Exceeds Expectations challenge, you need to read a graphic novel, comic, manga, or a book under 150 pages. And for this one I've chosen The Woods by Michael, I'm not sure how to pronounce that last name. This one I have as an ebook as well, and it is a graphic novel, so it counts. The Outstanding challenge is Spongify, which is a softening charm, apparently. Read a paperback book. And for this one, I'm reading Akane by Lynette Noni. This is the first book in the Madoran Chronicles series, and this will be a reread for me. So I'm super freaking keen because I've been meaning to reread this for a while. I did reread the audiobooks, but it's not the same as reading the physical. So next we have Defense Against the Dark Arts, and for the acceptable challenge is to read a book that's black under the dust jacket. I haven't picked a specific one for this, but I have a fair few books that are black under the dust jacket that could count, so we'll just have to see what happens. For Exceeds Expectations, Gilderoy's Memory Charm. Grab a pen. First book that you remember just now from your TBR. And when I wrote that challenge down in my reading tracker, the first book that came to mind was Wicked Fox by Kat Cho. This is the most recent book I've received, and it came straight to mind. It is also the group read for the YA Book Nerds for August. So yeah, it's the first one that came to mind. And yeah, I'll be reading it in August anyway, so convenient. So for Outstanding, Cornish Pixies, swatted away with a book written by an English author or set in England. Now I could use one of the Harry Potter books for this challenge, but we'll just have to see what ones I'm up to at the time. I do have another one on this TBR somewhere, but yeah, we'll just have to see what I'm up to at the time. But I am slowly making my way through a reread physically of those books and annotating the new UK paperbacks. So I could use a Harry Potter book for that one, but yeah, we'll just see what happens. So next we have a Divination, and for the acceptable challenge you need to read a white book. There is none of the white books on my TBR that I'm really keen for right now, so we might just find an audiobook for that one later, but I haven't specifically chosen one for that just yet. For Exceeds Expectations, we have read a short story or a collection of short stories. So for that one, I've chosen Toil and Trouble, 15 Tales of Women and Witchcraft, which is edited by Jessica Spotswood. I knew it was something starting with SB. This one is a collection of 15 short stories about witchcraft and women, so it counts for the challenge. So for Outstanding, you need to read the last book you bought or took from your library. As of right now, I'm not sure what that is because we are still halfway between the next month, so we'll just have to see what comes in the mail. By then, I don't know if I've actually ordered any more books. I do have one pre-order coming, which is Spin the Dawn, which that could be the one I use. I don't know, we'll just have to see when it ships. So yeah, it'll just be whichever one happens to be the newest one when I go to read that book. Next we have Herbology, and for this one I also need to get an Exceeds Expectations for Magizoologist. So firstly we have Acceptable, Mandrake. Quick, put your headphones on, listen to an audiobook, or if that's not possible, read a book with a green cover. So I'll be listening to Saw Kill Girls by Claire Legrand, which is an audiobook. This one I have it for another TBR, so it fit. It was an audiobook, I shoved it in the TBR. That's where it ended up, okay? So the Exceeds Expectations challenge for Herbology is to read a book between 350 and 390 pages. Okay, change of plan, because the book I was planning to read for this is Wildcard by Marie Lu, but I did base it off Goodreads. And on Goodreads it had 350 something pages. My copy has 341. So I'm gonna have to find something else for that. So I just found a replacement. The Song Rising by Samantha Shannon. This one has 350, hold on, where's the actual book start? acknowledgements. 350, where is it? There is so much stuff at the end of this book. 350 exactly, because all of that is other stuff. So this one counts, so I'm glad I found one for that, but yeah. And I do need to read this, so that's helpful. But yes, this is the new one on the TBR for the read between 350 and 390 pages. So next for Herbology we have Outstanding, read a book with a flower on the cover, and for this one I've chosen I Am Change by Susie Zale. This one I am reading for a blog tour and I need to have it read by the 15th and reviewed, and it has flowers on the cover. So I was reading it anyway, so that's super convenient, and it's got flowers on it, so it fits the challenge. Next we have History of Magic, and for the acceptable challenge it is to read a fantasy. 90% of my TBR is fantasy, so we'll just see what happens and fits that. So next we have History of Magic, and the acceptable challenge is to read a fantasy. For this one I will be reading Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. All of my editions are up there behind a crap ton of Funko Pops, and I'm not getting them down right now. But you know what Goblet of Fire looks like. And it is a fantasy. And I'm reading it for another readathon, so I already was planning on reading it, and it fit. So here we are. For Exceeds Expectations, it is to read a book that includes a map. And for this one, I've chosen We Are Blood and Thunder by Kessia Lupo. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. This one I received from the publisher just recently, and it has 2 maps, in fact. So it fits the challenge. We have first map and second map. So if it's a challenge and I need to read it soon and review it, so convenient. I feel like most of my TBR was just like, I was reading this anyway. It fit. So for the outstanding challenge for History of Magic, Tom Riddle's Diary, Fond Memory. Reread a favourite or read a classic. And for this one, I'm gonna have to check whether I can do this. I don't know if you can double up challenges for Magical Readathon. I can't remember. So I'm gonna have to go check that out. But if I can, I'll read Akane by Lynette Noni. If not, I will try and pick up the sequel. I don't know why I'm pointing it to it. Well, there goes a candle. I don't know why I'm pointing at it instead of picking it up. Aurelia, the second book to Akane. I'd prefer to lessen my TBR a little bit. So if I can double up, I'll use Akane for both. If not, I will try and read Aurelia as well. So next we have Potions, and the acceptable challenge is Polyjuice Potion. Read a friend's favourite book. Again, I don't have a bookish friend in the real world, so I'm gonna have to figure that one out. For Exceeds Expectation, we have House Ingredient, book with a cover in your Hogwarts house colour. So for this one, I'm planning on reading Dumb Witness by Agatha Christie. This is the next book I'm up to in the Hercule Poirot series, and it happens to be like a Maroni colour, so again, it just fit. So next we have Outstanding, a book that starts with a prologue, and again, I don't know if I can double up, but if I can, I will use We Are Blood and Thunder because this does start with a prologue. So yeah, if I can, I will. If not, I'll have to find something else. So the last subject is Transfiguration, and the acceptable challenge for this one is to read an LGBTQIAP+ book. So for this one, I've chosen The Devouring Grey by Christine Lynn Herman. This is labelled as LGBT on Goodreads, so I'm hoping it actually does feature that because I don't actually know anything about it. Yeah, hopefully it's right. If it's not, please let me know. I don't want to have to read an entire book and then realise it doesn't fit a challenge. The Exceeds Expectation challenge is to read a book that is not the first in the series, and I am cheating a slight bit because this book is not the first in the series because it's a standalone. There is no series, so it's technically not the first book in a series. And that is A Million Junes by Emily Henry. I have this one on audiobook, so yep, it was a standalone, so it kind of worked. And it's funny because I put a standalone in this challenge, and the challenge for a standalone I haven't decided yet. I'm not sure what I'm doing with my life. And lastly, we have Outstanding. McGonagall Does Not Mess Around. Read a book that is over 500 pages. This one, I haven't chosen one for. We'll just see what happens. And I really need to check if you can double up on challenges. If you know that, please let me know in case I forget to actually look it up because that's highly probable. So yeah, that is it for this TBR. Let me know if you're participating and what you're most excited to read. I don't need the entire list you're planning. And also let me know what career you're aiming for. That I'd be really curious about. So yeah, that is it for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.